He walked away from her and came back calm. "I'm sorry, Helen, I shouldn't have called, but I've been thinking about you since I saw you on the road. I miss you, but I don't want anything from you. Just company right now. So, I'm your diversion for the day?" I don't know that I'd put it so bluntly. "That's okay, Will," she said, to his surprise. "Actually, same here. I just had an awful date last night. The guy made me go Dutch at a pretty nice restaurant, though. He led me on like he was taking me out. But it wasn't the money. It was the long, ridiculous, nervous silence between us. I think he's kind of scared." "Well, you are a right frightful woman, Helen. You can't always hide your wicked ways, especially this time of year. Get out of here, Will." There was a sharp pain that used to grasp him by the chest when he was a little boy. Knife sharp. Had him screaming out of bed and into the den where yellow light the dark furniture absorbed, but the mahoganies and leathers ignored, hurt his eyes. Will's mother was worried, but could only comfort him with her voice and touch. His father a presence in his engraved armchair, and he felt abandoned, like they made light of his pain, like he was making what they called a mountain of a molehill, and he cried and cried and cried and could not breathe. And then the torment ended, and he was again tucked into bed. This was not the end of it. There were days in the fields with the boys in competition or in game, kill the carrier and whatnot, and the pain would be exacted on him again, and he would feel helpless to it like he felt helpless to nothing else, under the knife without anesthesia, and the countdown, victimized by its callousness. And he believed each and every time it might escalate and kill him, and saw its recurrence in the stars. He saw that this struggle beneath it would not end until it had his life. The boys would gather around, wipe the salt and sweat out their eyes, and not understand. They gazed at him and honored him by standing still in the humid air of unbridled youth and restlessness, just by standing there with sympathy. Of course, he was fine. Maybe a trip to the nurse. Then, the faintness that overcame him, the marked time he sat with his legs hanging and watched the big colored man who drove a truck that had jackknifed on the road try to talk to his mother with blood on her head into lying down, the faintness that crept up on him and made him feel queasy, then deathly sick, unable to speak or vomit, while the Quakers who lived in these parts talked quickly and quietly and were dressed so clean and formal. They tried to help as best they could and sort out the mess of metal crumpled on the small highway that made its way through rolling hills covered with lush green grasses the Amish cows went to pasture on. The truck driver saw his neck go weak and knew that the young boy had seen the blood trickle down his mother's forehead and raised his voice to take command of the situation. This comforted him, but he suddenly could not breathe at all, like the other times, and was taken with tremendous nausea that could not be relieved by vomiting, and the ambulance from the Quaker hospital arrived right on time. And he was laid on a stretcher with legs and given oxygen and knew not what had happened except a vague anxiety that he might not live, though the oxygen seemed to work in the silence and smooth shocks in the back of the ambulance. His mother by his side, asking the others what was the matter. "Yes, he's in shock," someone said.